When it comes to the question of which hero is the best carry, people often point towards the same few heroes: Genji, Tracer, Soldier, Roadhog, and while there are valid reasons for mentioning those heroes in this context, reasons I might get into in another video, I feel like there's another hero that takes the cake, one that I have yet to see on people's lists of carry heroes. Though if you know me, you'd know that I really hate the term carry. One's carry is often the result of the entire team working around and supporting the player in question, but hey, you gotta clickbait your videos somehow, don't you? Next to that, this hero actually does a lot of things for the team, which makes me think that the term carry might not be that far-fetched, though it is not as much of a traditional hard carry as people might think. At any rate, if I was to quickly summarize why I chose this hero over Genji or Tracer, it would come down to time investment. The average player only has so much time to spend on getting better at a video game, and learning a flanker or a precision-based hero to an extent where you can carry yourself out of your ELO takes a lot of time. Whereas with a hero of my choice, you learn a lot of valuable lessons while getting better with him, while the mechanical prowess is far more limited than from a hero like Tracer. But enough beating around the bush, it is time to reveal which hero I chose for my go-to carry out of a low ELO. It is Zenyatta. Now before you close the video, let me explain, because there are good reasons for why Zenyatta should be your go-to hero for getting out of a low ELO, and I want to go through these reasons one by one. First one being a problem that players face all around the ladder: others insta-locking DPS heroes and them being bad at their job. While this is always frustrating to deal with since the enemies not dying becomes a very apparent problem very quickly, the solution most of the time is not to throw more DPS heroes at the problem. Don't get me wrong, triple DPS comps are actually viable these days, but most of the time in lower ELO you want to make sure that the DPS players you do have are being supported. And for all intents and purposes, Zenyatta is a DPS hero with additional healing. What makes him a good pick is that you can pocket heal your squishy DPS, often giving them more time to, well, miss more shots, but then hopefully also landing a few. In addition to that, your Discord orb makes it easier for poor DPS players to do their job by requiring less hits to take an enemy out. So if you're playing Zenyatta and you put some thought into putting Discord orbs on enemies that your team is shooting anyway, that can often go a long way in winning more teamfights that you would have otherwise lost with those players on DPS roles. Meanwhile, Zenyatta himself obviously goes for a good bit of damage himself, so even if they can't kill things on their own, even with your Harmony and Discord orbs assisting them, there's still good old you that, once you got used to the projectile speed, tosses damage at the enemies like there's no tomorrow. And if you look at the roster of heroes that are popular carry picks like Tracer, Genji, and Roadhog, you got the means to deal with all these threats on your own. Don't get the wrong idea here, a good Tracer or Genji can absolutely destroy Zenyatta, but we're talking low ELO here. Once you got your Discord up on them, you have a few seconds where you can just hide around a corner, charge up your right click, and most low ELO Tracers will undoubtedly run into you, not expecting certain death. Even if you look at popular game-changing ultimates like Zarya's Graviton Surge or Genji's Dragon Blade, Zenyatta's ultimate counters both of them. What also makes Zenyatta a fantastic pick for climbing out of a low ELO is that with his lack of mobility, playing him forces you to get better at positioning. A big plus side of playing supports is that it often teaches you awareness of the entire battlefield. Where DPS players often tunnel vision on certain targets and make misplays based on that, a lot of support heroes actually allow you to take a step back and see pretty much everything. You can observe the routes that enemies take and call them out. You can see when your own team is out of position in relation to that and suggest a counterplay. And over time you will learn where you should position yourself in relation to your own team and depending on which heroes you are dealing with on the enemy team. Although these things are extremely important if you want to sustain a higher rating, there is no magical hero in Overwatch that will carry you to the top of the top without you having to ever learn anything. So the point here is that it's not just a hero that can win games for you if played properly, it is also a hero that forces you to learn basic maneuvering and strongly benefits from good communication, things that are highly beneficial on any hero. But listen, it's not like you can't learn those things playing other heroes, and it's not like there aren't other heroes that might even give you the potential to make a bigger impact on the game's outcome. I just personally think that when it comes to time investment in learning a hero versus the result in form of gameplay and rank improvement, Zenyatta is one of the better choices. Again, the average player only has so much time they can invest in getting better at a game, and Zenyatta just seems like a really good solution when it comes to making the best out of the limited time that you do have. Looking at the enormous projectile hitboxes in Overwatch, Zenyatta is really forgiving from a damage perspective, whereas you can get rusty on your aim with precision-based heroes if you don't play for longer periods of time. And the Discord orb makes it so even bad DPS players can kill things so long that they hit the enemies at all, while his Harmony orb is perfect when it comes to pocketing squishy heroes. His ultimate is undoubtedly great and even shuts down a lot of the popular heroes in lower ELO. While he has no get out of jail free card in form of any mobility based abilities, it is that lack of mobility that forces you to learn how to better position yourself, a trait that a lot of players lack even in higher ratings. If you then add the fact that supports enjoy the luxury of mostly staying in the back and by that get to observe how their own team but also how the enemy team maneuvers, as long as you're willing to learn and want to get better, it is my belief that Zenyatta is one of the better choices when it comes to learning the game's basics in terms of positioning and how to handle engagements. But this is me done for the day as I talk about the powerhouse Zenyatta and how you can benefit from getting really intimate with this hero. If you enjoyed the video, do let me know by dropping me a like on your way out, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.
You learned something very important, Mimir.
You see,
That you should never give up.
Yes, exactly. Well,
This made me cry. I'm literally crying right now.
well, crying of happiness, of determination. It's like, you know, in the movie when the good guy somehow does it.
Yeah.